There's a deep red juice that has quietly become one of the most studied natural beverages in cardiovascular science. Elite athletes drink it before competition to enhance their performance. Researchers at some of the most prestigious universities in the world have published study after study confirming its effects, and cardiologists are increasingly recommending it to patients who want to support their circulatory health naturally. That juice is beet juice, and its ability to increase blood flow is not a matter of opinion or tradition. It is a measurable, reproducible, scientifically documented fact. But here's what almost nobody knows. As powerful as beet juice is on its own, most people are leaving an enormous amount of its potential on the table. There are specific ingredients that, when added to beet juice, amplify its effects on blood flow so dramatically that researchers have described the enhancement as synergistic rather than merely additive. These aren't exotic compounds or expensive supplements. They're simple, widely available ingredients that interact with the biological pathways activated by beet juice in ways that multiply the circulatory benefit you receive from every single glass. Today, I'm going to explain exactly how beet juice works inside your blood vessels at the molecular level, why it's so remarkably effective, and then reveal 3 specific ingredients that can dramatically amplify its blood flow effects. I've organized these from the most well-known to the most surprising. And the third one has a mechanism of action that I find genuinely fascinating. So stay with me through this entire video. Let's start with the science of beet juice itself, because understanding this foundation is essential for appreciating why these specific additions make such a profound difference. Beets are extraordinarily rich in inorganic dietary nitrates. When you drink beet juice, these nitrates enter your digestive system and are absorbed into your bloodstream. But here's where the process becomes truly interesting. The nitrates themselves don't directly affect your blood vessels. They need to be converted through a specific biological pathway before they become active. The first step in this conversion happens not in your stomach or intestines, but in your mouth. Your saliva contains bacteria that live on the surface of your tongue, particularly on the back portion. And these bacteria possess enzymes called nitrate reductase that convert the nitrates from beet juice into nitrites. This is a critical step, and I'll come back to why it matters so much in a moment. After the nitrites are swallowed, they enter your stomach, where the acidic environment facilitates their further conversion into nitric oxide. Additional conversion occurs in your bloodstream and in the walls of your blood vessels themselves, where various enzymes and chemical conditions transform the remaining nitrites into nitric oxide at the local tissue level. Nitric oxide is the master signaling molecule of blood flow. When nitric oxide is released near blood vessel smooth muscle cells, it activates an enzyme called guanylate cycles, which produces a secondary messenger called cyclic GMP. Cyclic GMP tells the smooth muscle cells to relax. When smooth muscle cells relax, blood vessels widen, resistance to blood flow drops, and circulation improves throughout your entire body. Every organ, every tissue, every cell that depends on blood flow benefits when nitric oxide levels increase. The beauty of the nitrate pathway from VE juice is that it provides a source of nitric oxide that is entirely independent of the endothelial pathway that most other interventions target. Your endothelial cells produce nitric oxide through an enzyme called endothelial nitric oxide synthase, using the amino acid arginine as a substrate. This endothelial pathway is the one supported by compounds like Egypt from green tea, epicin from cacao, and eugenol from cloves. But as you age, endothelial function declines, and this pathway becomes progressively less efficient. The nitrate pathway from beet juice bypasses the endothelium entirely. It doesn't matter how impaired your endothelial function is. The nitrates from beet juice are converted to nitric oxide through a completely separate route that remains functional regardless of endothelial health. This is why beet juice is so remarkably effective for older adults whose endothelial function has already declined significantly. Clinical studies on beet juice have documented impressive results. Research has shown that beet juice consumption can lower systolic blood pressure by 4 to 10 points, improve exercise tolerance and physical endurance, enhance blood flow to muscles during physical activity, and increase flow-mediated dilation, which is the gold standard measurement of vascular responsiveness. These effects can begin within just 2 to 3 hours of consumption and can persist for up to 24 hours after a single serving. Now that you understand how beet juice works, let's talk about why adding specific ingredients can amplify these effects so dramatically. The first ingredient that I recommend adding to your beet juice is fresh lemon juice. And the reason is rooted in the specific chemistry of the nitrate to nitric oxide conversion pathway. Remember that critical step where nitrites are converted to nitric oxide in your stomach. This conversion is heavily dependent on the acidity of your stomach environment. The more acidic the conditions, the more efficiently nitrites are converted into active nitric oxide. In a highly acidic environment, the conversion happens rapidly and completely. In a less acidic environment, a significant portion of the nitrites may pass through the stomach without being converted, essentially wasting a substantial fraction of the nitric oxide potential from your beet juice. This is where lemon juice becomes transformative. Fresh lemon juice is rich in citric acid, and adding it to beet juice increases the acidity of the entire beverage. When this more acidic mixture reaches your stomach, it creates optimal conditions for the nitrite to nitric oxide conversion. More nitrites are successfully converted, which means more nitric oxide is generated from the same amount of beet juice. Research has demonstrated that acidic conditions can significantly enhance the rate and completeness of this conversion, meaning that the simple addition of lemon juice can substantially increase the amount of nitric oxide your body produces from a given dose of dietary nitrates. But lemon juice does more than just optimize stomach acidity. It provides a substantial dose of vitamin C, also known as ascorbic acid. And vitamin C plays a direct role in the nitrate pathway that goes beyond pH modification. Vitamin C has been shown to act as a reducing agent that facilitates the chemical reduction of nitrite to nitric oxide. It essentially donates electrons that help drive the conversion reaction forward, acting as a catalyst that makes the chemistry happen more efficiently. Published research has specifically demonstrated that vitamin C enhances nitric oxide production from dietary nitrites in a dose-dependent manner, meaning the more vitamin C present, the more nitric oxide is generated up to a saturation point. Vitamin C also provides its own direct vascular benefits that complement beet juice's effects. It is essential for the synthesis of collagen, which provides structural integrity to blood vessel walls. It protects nitric oxide from destruction by free radicals extending the functional lifespan of each nitric oxide molecule, and it supports the regeneration of another important antioxidant, tetrahydrobiopterin, which is a coactor required by the endothelial nitric oxide synthase enzyme. By supporting this coactor, vitamin C helps maintain the endothelial pathway of nitric oxide production alongside the nitrate pathway provided by beet juice, giving you two functional nitric oxide sources operating simultaneously. To add lemon juice to your beet juice, simply squeeze the juice of one full lemon into a standard glass of beet juice, approximately 200 to 250 milliliters Miller. Stir thoroughly and consume. The tartness of the lemon complement the earthy sweetness of beet juice surprisingly well, creating a flavor profile that many people find more enjoyable and refreshing than plain beet juice. The second ingredient that powerfully amplifies beet juice's effects is raw ginger. And its mechanism of action addresses an aspect of blood flow that the nitrate pathway alone doesn't fully cover. Beet juice works primarily by increasing nitric oxide availability, which causes blood vessels to relax and widen. This is vasodilation, and it's the most important mechanism for improving blood flow. But blood flow isn't determined by vessel diameter alone. It's also influenced by the properties of the blood itself, particularly its viscosity, which is how thick and resistant to flow the blood is. Even if your blood vessels are wide open, if your blood is thick and sluggish, the net improvement in circulation will be limited. This is where ginger becomes so valuable. Ginger contains bioactive compounds called gingerols and shows that have been shown to have significant effects on blood rheology, which is the science of how blood flows. Gingerols inhibit the excessive aggregation of platelets, which is the clumping together of blood cells that increases blood viscosity. When platelets aggregate excessively, blood becomes thicker, moves more slowly, and is less efficient at navigating through smaller blood vessels, where the critical exchange of oxygen and nutrients actually occurs. By reducing this excessive aggregation, ginger helps maintain optimal blood fluidity, allowing blood to flow more freely through the widened vessels that beet juice nitric oxide has opened. The result is a complementary dual mechanism where beet juice opens the highways and ginger ensures the traffic flows smoothly through them. Wider vessels plus more fluid blood equals substantially better net circulation than either mechanism could achieve alone. Ginger also provides significant anti inflammatory effects on blood vessel walls. Ginger rolls inhibit the production of inflammatory prostaglandins and leukotrienes that damage the endothelial lining and reduce its capacity to respond to nitric oxide signals. By reducing this vascular inflammation, ginger helps maintain the responsiveness of your blood vessels to the nitric oxide generated from beet juice, ensuring that the signal to relax is received and acted upon efficiently. Additionally, ginger creates a thermogenic effect in the body, slightly increasing core temperature and triggering reflexive vasodilation as the body works to distribute heat. This thermogenic vasodilation operates through a completely independent mechanism from the nitric oxide pathway, adding yet another complementary route for blood flow enhancement on top of what beet juice is already providing. There's also fascinating emerging research suggesting that ginger compounds may support the oral bacteria that perform the crucial first step of the nitrate conversion pathway. The bacteria on your tongue that convert nitrates to nitrites are essential for beet juice to work. And anything that supports the health and activity of these bacteria can enhance the overall effectiveness of dietary nitrate supplementation. While this research is still in its early stages, it represents another potential synergy between ginger and beet juice that may prove significant as the science develops. To add ginger to your beet juice, grate approximately 1 to 2 TSP of fresh ginger root and either blend it directly into the juice or steep it in a small amount of warm water for 5 minutes. Strain and add the ginger-infused liquid to your beet juice. Ginger provides significantly more bioactive ginger rolls than dried ginger powder, so fresh is strongly preferred for this application. The spicy warmth of ginger adds an invigorating dimension to the flavor of beet juice that most people find extremely appealing. The third ingredient is the one I find most scientifically fascinating, and it's one that most people would never think to combine with beet juice. It's raw cacao powder, not cocoa powder, which has been heavily processed and stripped of most beneficial compounds, but raw, unprocessed cacao powder. And the reason this combination is so powerful involves a mechanism that creates what researchers call a convergent amplification effect on the cyclic GMP pathway. Let me explain this carefully because it's genuinely remarkable. We discussed how nitric oxide from beet juice activates guanylate sialase, which produces cyclic GMP, and how cyclic GMP tells smooth muscle cells to relax. But cyclic GMP doesn't last forever. It is constantly being broken down by an enzyme called phosphodiesterase type 5. This enzyme chews up cyclic GMP and renders it inactive, which means the relaxation signal is constantly being terminated even as new cyclic GMP is being produced. The net amount of cyclic GMP available at any given moment, and therefore the net amount of smooth muscle relaxation and vasodilation, is determined by the balance between how fast cyclic GMP is produced and how fast it is destroyed. Beet juice increases the production side of this equation by providing more nitric oxide to stimulate guanylate sialase. But raw cacao works on the other side of the equation. The flavanol in cacao, particularly epicin, have been shown to inhibit phosphodiesterase enzymes, reducing the rate at which cyclic GMP is broken down. When cyclic GMP is broken down more slowly, it accumulates to higher levels inside smooth muscle cells, producing a stronger and more sustained relaxation signal. This is the convergent amplification I mentioned. Beet juice increases cyclic GMP production by providing more nitric oxide. Cacao reduces cyclic GMP destruction by inhibiting the enzyme that breaks it down. When both of these effects occur simultaneously, the net increase in cyclic GMP levels is dramatically greater than either effect could produce alone. The mathematical relationship is not simply additive, it's multiplicative. You're pushing the accelerator while simultaneously releasing the brake, and the net forward motion is far greater than either action alone would produce. But the benefits of cacao don't stop at phosphodiesterase inhibition. Cacao, flavanol, especially epicin, also directly stimulate the endothelial nitric oxide synthase enzyme, which means cacao is simultaneously boosting nitric oxide production through the endothelial pathway, while beet juice is boosting it through the nitrate pathway. These are two completely independent sources of nitric oxide feeding into the same guanylate xylus, and the phosphodiesterase inhibition from cacao, which ensures peak levels, is ensuring that the cyclic GMP produced by both sources accumulates to maximum levels. The three-dimensional synergy here, more production from two sources plus less destruction, is genuinely exceptional in its comprehensiveness. Clinical research on cacao flavanol has consistently demonstrated improvements in flow-mediated dilation, reductions in blood pressure, and enhanced peripheral blood flow. When these effects are layered on top of the nitric oxide boost from beet juice, the combined impact on vascular function and cardiovascular health exceeds what either could achieve independently by a substantial margin. Cacao also provides significant amounts of magnesium, which supports blood vessel relaxation and healthy circulation through its role as a natural calcium channel regulator. It contains theobromine, a mild vasodilator that promotes blood vessel widening through yet another independent mechanism. And it provides a broad spectrum of polyphenolic antioxidants that protect both the nitric oxide produced from beet juice and the nitric oxide produced through the endothelial pathway from free radical destruction and vascular damage. To add raw cacao to your beet juice, blend 1 to 2 TBSP of raw cacao powder directly into your glass of beet juice. A blender or a vigorous whisk works best because cacao powder doesn't dissolve as readily as some other additions. The deep chocolate flavor of raw cacao combined with the earthy sweetness of beet juice creates a remarkably rich and satisfying beverage that many people find absolutely delicious, especially when the lemon juice and ginger from the first two additions are also included. Now let me paint the complete picture of what you've created when you combine all three additions with your beet juice. You have beet juice providing abundant dietary nitrates that are converted through the oral bacteria and stomach acid pathway into nitric oxide, completely bypassing the endothelium and its barriers and remaining fully functional regardless of age-related endothelial decline. You have lemon juice optimizing the acidity of the conversion environment and providing vitamin C that catalyzes nitrite to nitric oxide conversion, maximizing the yield of nitric oxide from every molecule of dietary nitrate you consume. You have ginger reducing blood viscosity through antiplatelet effects, adding thermogenic vasodilation through an independent heat-mediated mechanism, and reducing vascular inflammation across the system that would otherwise impair your blood vessels' responsiveness to nitric oxide. And you have raw cacao inhibiting phosphodiesterase to prevent the breakdown of cyclic GMP, simultaneously stimulating endothelial nitric oxide synthese to add a second source of nitric oxide production and providing magnesium and theobromine for relaxation for additional vasodilation support through further independent mechanisms. Every ingredient in this formulation targets a different step in the blood flow process. Beet juice generates nitric oxide through the nitrate pathway. Lemon amplifies the efficiency of that generation. Cacao generates additional nitric oxide through the endothelial pathway and prevents the downstream signal from being degraded. And ginger ensures the blood itself flows optimally through the widened vessels. There is no redundancy. There is only layer upon layer of complementary synergistic support. For preparation, I recommend the following approach. Start with approximately 200 milliliters of fresh beet juice or high-quality organic beet juice without added sugars. Add the juice of 1 full fresh lemon. Add 1 to 2 TSP of freshly grated ginger root. Add 1 to 2 TBSP of raw cacao powder. Blend everything together until smooth and thoroughly combined. Consume once daily. Regarding timing, there is flexibility here depending on your goals. For general circulatory support and daily maintenance, consuming this blend in the morning allows the nitric oxide boost to support your circulation throughout your most active hours. For overnight vascular recovery and repair, consuming it in the evening before bed provides the compounds during the critical window when your body is performing its most intensive cardiovascular maintenance. Some people choose to consume a smaller serving at both times for around-the-clock support. Experiment with timing and find what works best for your individual schedule and what produces the most noticeable benefits for you personally. One important practical note about beet juice and oral hygiene. Since the conversion of nitrates to nitrites depends on the bacteria on your tongue, it is important not to use antibacterial mouthwash immediately before or after consuming beet juice. Antibacterial mouthwash kills the very bacteria that perform this essential first conversion step, which can significantly reduce the effectiveness of the dietary nitrates. Regular brushing with toothpaste is fine, but avoid strong antiseptic mouth rinses in close proximity to your beet juice consumption. Quality matters with every ingredient. Make this a daily ritual, and the cumulative effects on your circulation can be genuinely transformative. If this video brought you value, share it with someone who deserves better blood flow. Subscribe for more evidence-based health content.